Right, what a week. Progress has been slow on the truck this week, to the point I've did nothing since the last episode actually. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to head to the unit. I'm probably going to do a little bit of filler work to finish off the repairs on the passenger side of the cab. I usually wouldn't do it this way. I'd usually do all the metal work and then the filler work and then the paint prep, but I think in this case I'm going to do it panel by panel or side by side, and I'm also going to tear the underside of the cab apart and clean that back to bare metal to see what state the floor's in. So let's get into it. So we're at the unit now. What I'm going to do is start by cleaning the underside. It is covered in under seal, so it's covering all sorts of sins, I can guarantee that. You know, I can see it just roughly looking here. It's all just flaky rust. All of the seams, you know, they're all starting to split, all flaking. Now, I was going to get it media blasted, but by the time I've covered the engine, got it outside, all the rest of it, you tend to find that also the media bounces off under seal. So the best way I've found is to use a grinder and a knotted wheel. So I'm going to get into that now and get absolutely covered in crap. So let's get into it. Alright, so I've been at this about half an hour now, grinding away around the longitudinal of the cab here, the sport section, and what you see is it's really quite good, really nice and tight all along the vertical section, and then when you come to the floor section, you can start to see some corrosion running along this edge here. And what that is where it's rusty on the inside of the cab as well. It's where the overlap is, and what's happened is actually the floor has came away. The spot welds have failed. You can see there's actually not a lot of hold there. So you come up here, you can't get in there, and I think this is all down to just the design of the rails. A lot of cars suffer from a similar problem where water gets in through these holes here that should have grommets in, but obviously haven't got grommets in. May have at some point, but not now. The water comes down, it's got nowhere to go because these grommets are still in, and this fills up with water and basically gets in all of these internal seams, and it rots from the inside out. And then you also have the condensation and things in the cab, wet floor. So it's not very good. Them seams weren't protected enough. So what I'm going to do here is probably cut along this edge here on the inside and cut sort of in between the chassis rail on the inside of the cab. Take this out and put some fresh sheeting down here, just to repair all this. Also the same on the other side. I have to excuse the noise, lots of people are at the units today. The corrosion along that edge, tiny little bit of a hole where the overlap is, so that's that. What I'll do, I have had as good a look in I can in there, and a poke around where I can. It seems solid enough. This isn't going anywhere, so I'll grind it a bit more and see what comes of it, but it looks all right. I've also went along all of these seams, got them back to bare metal, ground out all the rust, treated them and primed them. So what I'm going to move on to now is stripping out the floor and the seat. That way I'll be able to get to the seam here and begin making that repair. So I've got the carpet up, and I've had a bit of the rubber floor mat, and I've had a bit of a prod at the rotten seam. As you can see, it is completely gone. This section here is to the right of the chassis rail on the underside, and the white is actually the rust treatment that I've applied on the underside coming through. So all this section here, I'm not going to mess around, I'm going to cut it out and replace it. This bulge here, this patch of rust, you might actually see it, but it's bent up. That is where the spot welds have failed along the seam and where I could pry up. So effectively, what I'm going to do is just cut down here, this big plate out, and build it up in the new layers. There's no point trying to fix this. It's completely gone. So let's get into it. So the floor's all cut out where I want to make the repairs. I've cleaned up all of the edges of the chassis rails here. Now I'll just make a cardboard template and get it welded in. So, made it to the end of another video. It was a bit of a slow start on this episode. I just had no time whatsoever, and then literally one weekend's work and I've managed to completely do all the underside of the truck, which I wasn't really expecting to do. It isn't an amazing job, you know. I've did it quick. It's a truck at the end of the day. It's a working vehicle, you know. It's not like it's a show car or something. You know, I have been known to spend a lot longer doing stuff like this, you know, getting all of the panel gaps or the repair panel gaps right, welding them in perfectly and grinding them off flush so you can't tell, and then making sure the underside is absolutely spotless, ground back. But what's the point, you know? It's an off-road truck at the end of the day. It's not going into any shows or awards or anything, so I'm not going to waste my time. As long as it's solid, I'm happy. You know, it's going to last another 20 years. You know, it's already lasted 20 odd years up to now with virtually no maintenance, so this should see it off into the future. I think in the next episode I'll probably make a start on the turret. I've been not so much putting it off, I've just been looking at different ways to remake it, to make it a bit more weatherproof. So I'll probably make a start on that next time. And then probably the video after that, I'm thinking about moving on to the axles, but I need to buy myself a hub nut tool before I get onto them. That's probably about it. As ever, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. It's a great help, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.